Hello, today I will talk to you about what blockchain is and share some information related to it. First of all, our first question is, what is a blockchain? Blockchain is a structure that does not rely on a central authority. In distributed database structure, encrypted data in blocks is distributed to all participants in the network. Also allows buyer and seller to transact securely without the need for a third party. And blockchain emerged in 1991 and it was first used with blockchain by Satoshi Nakamoto in 2007. And blockchain is not same as Bitcoin. This is a common misconception because Bitcoin uses the blockchain structure. Is a different. Now, let's talk about structure of a block. We can divide it into four parts. The first part is the block structure itself. A block consists of two main sections, the header and data. The header can contain different elements like block number, hash code of the previous block, and its own hash. The second part is the hash section, where the hash code is stored. SHA 256 is the most commonly used hashing algorithm, and also this called block number timestamp, previous hash, data, nonce, etc. The, the third part the third part is data change. For example, imagine you had a group of 10 people, but it has now become a group of 1. And here is the hash code of the 6 people. But it has now become a group of 1. Since the data has changed, the hash code will change completely and new hash code will be created. Also, each block is linked to the previous one through hash codes, and this one creates a blockchain. Now let's explain how blocks are connected to each other. As you can see in the picture, each block has code and the previous hash code. The previous hash code is taken from the block right before it. The very first block is called the Genesis block. Yeah. And since it has no previous block, its previous hash code is 0000. If someone tries, oh, yeah, if someone tries to change the hash code of any block, it will not match the next block's previous hash code, break the chain and making the block invalid. That's why um, the block will be invalid and the all block is breaking. Now let's look at the system architecture. There are two types of databases: centralized and decentralized or distributed databases. We call decentralized databases is blockchain since it's decentralized, everyone becomes an accountant. Accounting, yeah. In centralized systems, there's a trust third party. The database is controlled by trust third party. But in blockchain, every person acts as the third party. A copy of database is available to all participants, thus preventing data corruption. Before the blockchain, centralized approval and calculation mechanism created central ledger, but after the blockchain, decentralized approval and calculation mechanism created distributed and ledger. Yeah, let's see how these blocks are verified and added. Anyone can add a new block to the chain wherever it's allowed. Block mining is decentralized computing process and used for three purposes. After the mathematical problem for the block to be added is solved and it verifies the transaction, and after that it produces new coins for each block it solves. And let's take a look at the mining process step by step. The first transactions are collected into blocks. After that, transactions are verified if they are valid. And the block at end of the chain is found and header code of the block is added as the previous block, hash of the newly added block. And the mathematical verification problem is solved. And last one, when mathematical problem is solved, new block is first added to local blockchain and then propagated to entire network. Now let's talk about the challenges, advantages, and some examples of this structure. Challenges are main problem, lack of standards. But to solve this problem, a group of 54 companies, including such as IBM, Cisco, Fujitsu, and also financial institutions such as JP Morgan and Accenture, founded an open source code called Hyperledger. And in July 2017, Fabric version 1.0 was released. In February 2018, Sawtooth version 1.0 was released. And here is some advantages. The direct transaction, transparency, also more private and more secure. And here is some example of the transaction works. Deutsche Bank started working on blockchain at end of the 2018. Deutsche Bank and Goldman Sachs work in translation with statements emphasizing importance of blockchain and also use MasterCard instant blockchain payment transaction for the instant blockchain payments. Also, let's look at which important institutions are using blockchain. The first one is SBI, the Central Bank of India. The SBI is India's largest central bank. Also, Akbank. Akbank announced that it will carry out money transfers using blockchain technology with the help of Ripple as a first in Turkey. Central Bank of Turkey. The central bank has established a working group for blockchain, BDDK, SPK, and Ministry of Treasury and Ministry of Finance. And also Canada. Canada blockchain to be used for digital identities in Canada, and new digital ID developed by SecureK Technologies and also supported by IBM. And the last one, let's take a closer look at some current applications. As you can see, the technology is used at 21 marketplaces, many well-known apps, even by oops, even by Uber. Yeah. And thank you so much for the listening.